want to applaud you on the approach you take to economic development and small business development. I founded in 1983 and ran for many years a program called the Small Business Development Center that provides free business counseling and training programs to small businesses. And I want to, again, applaud you that the approach you take with working with small businesses. 60% of all jobs in any state come from small businesses, not the large businesses that they attract with those subsidies. There's a famous story in economic development circles about the state of Alabama that gave Mercedes-Benz a multi-billion-dollar contract for 20 years of tax subsidies, and then at the end of the 20th year, they
took off.
They took off. They moved to Kentucky and got a subsidy there, and that happens so often. So I want to make a recommendation.
This governor too,
Matter of fact. With a small business, especially a startup, and you know this, the biggest problem they have is finance. Just getting the capital together to invest. And you know, this, you talked about the taxes. There's a $500 fee if you incorporate either a sub S or any of the various forms of taxation, incorporation. You have to pay a $500 tax every year, even if you don't make a profit. If your spouse in a small business is just starting, your spouse is literally subsidizing the business so that you can work and get this business going. You're unprofitable, you're still shelling out $500. That law ought to be changed.
It's actually a little low now. They did cut it down. I think it's at $450, but still, it's hampering.
Still, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you're not making a profit, you shouldn't be.
Now, we're all living in an era now where there's so much talk about 38 studios, and I don't know if you remember the Director Shipyard back 30 years ago, there was the same kind of thing. Despite that, I still think that the state ought to be investing in small businesses. And of course, 38 Studios was not a small business, it was a major, investment. But these companies that are just starting out or a year or 2 years old, they really need the capital to invest so they can hire new people, buy machinery, develop a marketing plan. They don't have developed enough to get the customers in yet, to get the revenue, but they still have the expenses in order to invest in the company. And these are areas where the state could, if it's a well-managed program with, as you described, a quality person who has the right experience running it, I would recommend you consider and talk to your people about that kind of small investment. Even, $20,000, you can use, if you compare that to 38 students, how many small businesses could we have invested in? And we'd have a lot more jobs than we got out of them. So, just that recommendation. Thank you.
I agree with you. I saw another hand. Oh, no, good. Yes, good. Sorry. Yes, sir.
You got the answer to a question previously.
Which one was that?
Making Rhode Island more affordable for senior citizens.
Oh, yes. Very valid question, because we are one of the few states that still, taxes retirement income, especially pensions. Earlier today, I was with a group of retirees that were impacted by the governor's pension reforms. And, I am very sympathetic to many of them, because not only are they getting taxed on their pensions, many of them don't get Social Security because they never paid in. So, as a state, you want to keep many of our seniors here. The loss of income when they take off for more tax-friendly havens like Florida or anywhere else, you're losing that income, and you're losing that person that's been such a vibrant part of our community. You're even losing a lot of our wealth, with that estate tax. So the other part that I'd like to see is get that estate tax for many of our individuals who are elderly, who are about to transition, so that they can plan for the transition of, well, it's a family business or anything else to the next generation. Get that up to what probably the federal federal threshold, not at that current $1.5 million. So if we can start phasing out the retirement tax on retirement income, get that estate tax threshold up higher, I think it'd help a lot of seniors, and also for family planning purposes too.